Greetings to Spring ISD's incoming 5th graders. This lesson will cover representing quotients using arrays, area models, and equations. Here's a quick song to refresh your memory of what division is and how we use it in math.
You thought multiplication was fun. Let's break down that division, y'all. Here we go in 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's finally time to learn about division. Oh, it'll be a breeze if you know multiplication. I've got your back for sure. 12 divided by 4. 12's the total and 4 can be the group so tight. Yo, what does tie mean? It stands for things in each. The choice is yours, but make sure you can model both ways. Everybody jump on in, yeah. We're on a mission, mastering that division. You may be saying it's multiplication, just in reverse, that's cause they're inverse operations. But in division, we know that the total's given, equally splitting or separating to determine the unknown. Here's a word problem for you, pause it if you need to.
No, really, you should probably pause it.
We know the total and the number of groups. We must find the things in each. In this case, how many B's? 16 divided by 2. Let's draw it out. Divide them equally. How many B's do you see in each half? There are 8. That's our quotient. Everybody jump on in, yeah. We're on a mission, mastering that division. You may be saying it's multiplication, just in reverse, that's cause they're inverse operations. But in division, we know that the total's given, equally splitting or separating to determine the unknown. Here's another one for ya, pause it if you need to. We know the total and the things in each group. So now how many groups? Let's model this one too. 6 in each, there's one group, but the total's 18. Another group of 6 is 12, right? Yeah, that's it. Then another makes 18. The quotient is 3.
What's the total called, y'all?
Dividend.
What's our other known called?
Divisor.
What's the answer called, y'all?
Quotient.
You know we rockin' that division vocab. What's the total called, y'all?
Dividend.
What's our other known called?
Divisor.
What's the answer called, y'all?
Quotient.
You know we rockin' that division vocab.
Everybody jump on in, yeah. We're on a mission, mastering that division. You may be saying it's multiplication, just in reverse, that's cause they're inverse operations. But in division, we know that the total's given, equally splitting or separating to determine the unknown.
Let's review some vocabulary specific to our lesson. What is an array? An array is an arrangement of objects, pictures, or numbers in columns and rows. Look at this example. I have 15 candies that I want to share with 3 friends. I can use an array to help me represent this. I can organize my candies into 3 rows with 5 candies in each row for a total of 15. So my model represents how many pieces of candy each friend would get. What is an area model? An area model is similar to an array. It is a rectangular diagram or model used for multiplication and division problems, in which the factors or the quotient and divisor define the length and the width of the rectangle. Let's think about our last example. 15 candies to share with 3 friends. How can I represent that with an area model? We start by drawing a rectangle. Then we write a 3 on the side to represent my 3 friends, and 15 on the inside to represent my candies. Since I know that multiplication is the opposite of division, I know that I can use multiplication to help me divide. I know that 3 times 5 equals 15, so I can put 5 at the top of my rectangle and subtract 15 from 15 so I know I have no leftovers. What is an equation? An equation is a statement that the values of two mathematical expressions are equal, indicated by the equal sign. In order to write an equation that represents our example, I have 15 candies that I want to share with 3 friends. I know I have 15 candies and I'm separating them among my friends. So 15 represents my total. Separating things into equal groups is division. So I'm going to divide 15 by 3 friends to get my answer, which equals 5 candies per person. So the equation is 15 divided by 3 equals 5. Let's see how this works in more detail. Let's look at the array. In our model, we can see a total of 24 frogs, divided into 3 rows and 8 columns. If we put an array around the pictures, you can see it a little more clearly. Another way to check to see if our model shows 24 divided by 3, you can circle each row to clearly see 3. For this example, we will use an area model to represent 189 divided by 7. We begin with the rectangle. Inside, we know the total has to represent 189, and the length of one side has to represent 7. We are going to use multiplication to help us figure out what goes on top of the rectangle. We can start by multiplying to get as close as we can to 189. So first, let's multiply 7 times 10. Well, that gives us 70. I think we can get closer to 189. Let's multiply 7 times 20. That gives us 140, which is much closer. So we subtract 189 minus 140 and find out that we have 49 left to fill up the rectangle. If we know our multiplication facts, we know that 7 times 7 equals 49. So we can put a 7 at the top of our rectangle and subtract to see that we have used the entire 189 for the inside of our rectangle because 49 minus 49 equals 0. So 189 divided by 7 equals 27, and 27 times 7 equals 189. Just remember that the factors on the outside of the rectangle have to multiply to the value on the inside of the rectangle. That's how you check your work. For equation, we're going to look at it a couple different ways. The question could ask which equation is represented by the model. So let's look at the first model. In this area model, we know that the inside of the model shows 60 and 18. When we add them together, we get 78. We can also see 6 to the side of the rectangle and a total of 13 on the top of the rectangle. In the next model, we can see the word problem that goes with it. Mrs. Rios arranged 78 chairs in the choir room into 6 rows with the same number of chairs in each row. The array shown below represents the rows of chairs and the number of chairs in each row. Looking at the array, we can see the 78 total chairs. We can also see the 6 rows. So both of these models represent the equation 78 divided by 6 equals 13. If there's anything about this content that you need to review so far, repeat this section of the video now. Let's try some together. Write a division equation that matches the model. What is the total inside the rectangle? Take a moment to think about it. If you got 3,654, then you're correct. What is the total at the top of the rectangle? The sum of the numbers at the top of the rectangle is 500 plus 20 plus 2 equals 522. How do you think we could represent this model as a division equation? There are two things you could have come up with. 3,654 divided by 7 equals 522, or 3,654 divided by 522 equals 7. Let's look at this one. Which of the following models would be most helpful in determining the quotient of 35 and 7? How many total dots should be in the model that best fits the quotient of 35 and 7? We should look for the model with 35 dots. Let's see which ones have that. The first array is 7 by 5 for a total of 35. The second array is 6 by 7 for a total of 42. And the third array is 7 by 5 for a total of 35. So right now, we know that the middle model does not represent the quotient because it has too many dots. Let's look at the last two models. They both have 35 dots, but only one shows the number 7. I'm looking for 7 groups or groups of 7. The only model that shows 7 groups is the first one. 35 divided by 7 equals 5. Let's try one more together. A tile store needs to order 1,554 tiles for a customer. The tiles come in boxes of 6. What equation could the store use to determine how many boxes of tile the customer needs? What do we know about this problem? We know that the store needs 1,554 tiles total. They come in boxes of 6 each, and we need to find out how many boxes they need to order. Since we know the total, we know we will need to divide to find the number of boxes the customer needs. So the equation is 1,554 divided by 6 equals 259. Now it's time for you to apply what you've learned and practice a few on your own. Which equation is represented by the model? Take some time to examine the model and determine your answer. Let's see. We know there is a total of 36 tiles and they're divided into 4 groups with 9 in each group. So that equation would be 36 divided by 4 equals 9, or C. For this problem, we need to find which area model shows 1,852 divided by 4 equals 463. Take some time to solve. We know that in our area model, the value of the inside has to equal 1,852, so we can eliminate A and B. For letter C, 4 times 4,000 does not equal 1,000, so that can't be the answer. So our answer is D. As we check each box with multiplication, we see that they match. Last one. Which of the following models does not show 36 divided by 6? Pause the video and examine the models. We need to be careful when we see the word not in the equation, because that means that 3 answer choices are correct and we are looking for the one that's wrong. We know that there has to be 36 dots total. All the models show 36 dots. So now we are looking for the one that does not show 6 groups or groups of 6. Our answer is D, since it only shows 4 groups. Remember that representing is about the models being used and not so much the answer. The models that were discussed in the lesson today were arrays, area models, and equations. For your final challenge, you will complete the next problems on your own and turn them into your teacher. Pause the video and take your time. You got this. Need help? Ask your teacher or someone at home for more help on this topic. See you next time.